College is a time of drastic change. Students experience much transformation in their relationships, spiritually and socially. College employees are in a unique position to walk with students in their faith journeys as faith mentors. Employees might feel ill-equipped at doing this, but it's a simple practice as knowing, being, and doing. An orchestra director understands the music beyond just the symbols of the notes, the staccatos and the accents. He knows the music. He understands the lulls and the dips, the secrets and the subtleties. A faith mentor goes beyond religious education. They engage students about matters of faith and questions and doubts and dreams and hopes and joys. The orchestra director knows when to bring in the brass, when to quiet the cellos, and when to increase the volume of the violins. When speaking of faith, know when to quell cynicism, when to encourage the students with tough love, and when support is going to be the most needed instrument. Know your students. Recognize the influence of media on their lives, that many struggle with issues of loss and grief, anxiety and depression. Some are trying to make sense of the whirlwinds and shipwrecks of their lives. These realities are intertwined with their faith journeys. As a faith mentor, recognize both their promise and vulnerability, guide them to needed resources, challenge and inspire them, and engage with them in mutually beneficial conversations. Know that faith isn't just an objective achievement of a set of beliefs, but it is also in the questions, struggles, doubts, joys, and anticipations. Faith is a process. It is both noun and verb.
Faith is my life. You know, it's my most fundamental purpose, I would say, is to know God. And so whatever ways my life enables me to do that, and whatever ways other people enable me to do that, that is, I guess, my purpose.
Faith to me, it's sort of like a very precious jewelry, I guess. It's something that I need to take care of. I need to polish it, I need to clean it, I need to put it somewhere safe. I also like to shine it and show it to others. But I think that it is, without that precious jewel, I lose a lot of value.
To be fueled, I spend time praying and doing devotions, learning about the Bible, talking to people, and that's how I'm fed spiritually. And then doing justice and being a peacemaker and living in such a way that mimics the way Jesus lived on earth would be how I live out my faith.
Wednesday nights, I go to a small group. So like, even a smaller group, like 8, 10 people, some older adults, some college students. And just kind of like consistent sort of ritual, that's really great for me, just to have people to talk to and such.
My mentor is not a perfect person, but it is a person who is willing to share where they are in their journey with someone who is not as far along in their journey, with someone who's a little bit more fresh, somebody who's just starting to find their way.
First of all, you gotta live it. I mean, that's important. You know, day to day, you're truly that yourself as a coach. You gotta walk it. You gotta truly believe that, you know, there's a higher power out there for them.
They need to be honest and be like, this is what you're messing up with. But not only I will tell you what you're messing up with, but I will help you up. I will hold you in your hands and I will lift you up and I'll walk with you.
I think you have to be comfortable with vulnerability and not having all the answers. I like to think of mentoring as walking with someone.
A selflessness and a willingness to walk and to journey with me, wherever that may be.
Who just has a heart for people, just someone who understands empathy, who can feel the joy and the pain of another person.
Being legitimately curious about like who I was and what I like to do and what my questions are.
A faith mentor is someone who shares personally how the Spirit has moved and worked in their lives.
Bees swerve and dive and spin. Their very existence seeps energy. The college life and the world beyond can seem like it's in fast forward, and constant energy is needed to keep up with itself. Just being in nature and in community with others is often overlooked. Taking the time to be with yourself and in community, respecting and patiently listening to both your inner dialogue and to the words of those around you can nurture a sense of acceptance and belonging. Bees have individualized work, but that doesn't prevent their ability to come together in one place with one goal. Different backgrounds and faith practices may seem unique, but can easily come together to serve in a nurturing environment. Being may be difficult to truly grasp and measure, but a faith mentoring environment does possess some key features. Ask yourself if your college environment is a place of belonging for students, extends an openness to their big questions of life, fosters genuine hospitality, develops deeper wells of meaning and purpose in their lives, nurtures them toward worthy dreams, offers images of hope, and engages in practices that pause and reflect.
It concerns me that students, when they come to college, they go on sabbatical in terms of their faith practices. I think that faith is understood through the practice of it. And to the extent that we pull away from practices and try to understand it intellectually, I don't think we really can.
Coming home for the first time, away from mom and dad for the first time, that situation, you know, even from a kid from back church-going kid, they're coming here, in college, a good time for them to like really discover themselves as a person.
Mentoring is critical when you're in college. I think that college students experience so many crazy stuff that sometimes they don't even know who they are.
I had a student who was in their second year whose grandfather passed away, and they were very close to the grandfather, and just really struggling with, you know, he just kept saying, I wish the world could just stop. Like, so I really had an opportunity to think about what this means and to make sense out of it, and there just isn't that time. We're so busy with papers and tests and everything going on. And I said, you know, I felt that way too sometimes, you know, why couldn't we do something? Why couldn't we make that time to just stop?
A lot more is going on than just teaching math or teaching English, that they are teaching students how to live a meaningful life.
I think it's something as a Christian institution that we don't have to be shy about bringing into our classrooms. And sometimes I wonder why sometimes we keep academics and our spiritual lives a little bit more separate.
Like if someone brings up the topic of faith, that we can kind of get a sparkle in our eye and let people know that it's important to us.
I think it's true not just for students, but for anybody. It's so easy to just fill your days and just be busy, 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 and that seems to be rewarded by society. And so in the midst of that, to take time for quietness, to take time for reflection, it seems kind of it can seem like a waste of time. I think it's helpful for us as faculty to remember that, you know, real life is going on outside of the classroom too.
Sharing with the students the fact that yes, we do belong to a certain faith community and we do have certain beliefs. And sharing that in the classroom as well as out of the classroom. Offering students the chance to get to know us outside of class.
The coach blows the whistle. The girls run just a little faster, kick the ball a little harder, and raise their feet just a little higher. Goals and assists are important, but the coach also sees the big picture of what's going on. Winning isn't ignored, but how one gets there is quite an achievement. The coach knows the drills and the motivations required of his players to perform at their best. And in a similar way, faith mentors know the faith practices that will work best for their students. Pray for your students. Send them encouraging notes. Invite them to church. Listen to them, to their joys, their concerns, their doubts, their fears. Share aspects of your own faith, your own life. What went well? What didn't go so well? What challenges did you experience? These are just some of the ways that you can make connections and be a faith mentoring presence for students.
Doing faith-nurturing practices with your students can easily be done in and out of the classroom and can be quite simple. The list of options is never ending, but sometimes connecting with a student is simply a matter of being available at the right time and the right place. Perhaps it's a 5-minute conversation on the sidewalk that might not seem all that significant to you, but is critical in theirs. You can have a significant impact on their lives, and often it happens through small gestures.
I have opportunities in the classroom and outside of the classroom to share my faith and to talk about matters of faith with my students.
For myself, I make it an effort of remind them and how grateful it is, how wonderful God is, and to be part of, and for them to like every year before the season starts, I always take them to a church and someplace that, hey, it's a good thing to have, I
teach courses where I'm teaching teachers, and so a key part of faith mentoring is caring not only about what students are learning and what they come to know, but also caring about the whole person.
So whatever we do, we pray that our hands and our feet would all be an expression of God's love. And working in schools, working with high schoolers, I think will be enormously difficult at times, but also enormously rewarding and just an incredible opportunity.
In most of my classes, I have a chance to share, for example, insights that one would get from Scripture that would apply in economics. There's a lot in the Bible about economics, that's for sure. And it's a lot of fun with students, many of whom have a Christian background, who have read the Bible or studied the Bible or heard these Bible stories, to then try to apply that in the context of the modern economy.
Just being in an academic context forces you to ask a lot of questions and think critically. And so during your time in college, it's a place where you can think critically about faith.
If students can understand their role as a professional within the context of a meaningful faith, I think that's the best I can achieve in the classroom setting.
We sell the idea, what they're going to be like as a young man 10, 15 years from now, rather than how many goals they're going to score for me, how many trophies we're going to win. It's not about that. It's all about 10, 15 years from now.
Seeing my professors be faithful while being professors has been inspiring, and it showed me how I can be faithful while doing the vocation that I will someday choose.
I guess the example that's been most rewarding or fulfilling for me has been that we've created this sort of spiritual group within the science department, specifically within the biology department, but other science students are a part of it. We've been meeting together for 10 years now, and so obviously the students who started this group have graduated and they're on with their lives, and yet it keeps having this life that's really exciting.
College is about my major, my job, my profession, my GPA, my grades, and so faith mentoring is pushing out of your boundaries.
If I can share who I am and my perspective and make myself vulnerable, go out on a limb a little bit, then the students are more willing to do the same thing.
That's a very intricate dance that we do as faith mentors, to be vulnerable, to expose our own faith and our own faith questions.
In the soccer team too, we have a lot of kids from different background, also different religion too. We got a lot of several international students on the team there. But at the same time, we want to also at the same time make sure like they feel comfortable. They don't feel like we push them to certain thing, anything like that, to make sure that they understand and respect each other's culture.
The fact that we as faculty have different ideas and opinions about things, I think that makes it okay for the students to have different views as well.
I heard this quote from the Archbishop of Canterbury of many years ago, and he said that we are all beggars pointing to the well. We are all beggars pointing to the well. And I would say that's a part of faith mentorship. And professors can seem like they really have it all together, but we really don't. and we're all beggars. And part of faith mentoring is pointing students to the well, right? Because you have to go to that well, and they have to go to that well. And there are multiple wells, different religious traditions, right, to drink from, but we all need the water.